Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Daily Tech Show. I'm your host, John Myer. And before we get started, what is this show all about? I'd like to say it's for us geeks, but I think everyone's going to enjoy it. We're going to bring you some awesome interviews from public cloud leaders and some quick tech news around AWS. And we might sprinkle some of those other public clouds that exist into the conversation, but you all know me, so I'll probably be around AWS. Well, what's going on with all this talk of digital transformation? Well, guess what? Joining me today is Turbonomic CTO Mor Cohen-Tal to help us understand what it's all about. If you like the Daily Tech Show and enjoy some of my content, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, notify button, comments down below, whatever you do, because I enjoy putting these on for you. Before we bring more onto the show, how about some tech news? Earlier this week, India's third largest private sector bank struck a cloud computing deal with AWS to migrate 70% of its on-premises data center in the next 24 months to reduce costs, improve agility, and customer experience. Another win for digital transformation, you say? How about some useless news? If you haven't seen it yet, a Columbus, Ohio woman checked her pool noodle as a second bag on Southwest Airlines. Maybe she only trusted that the pool noodle didn't want to take her chances with another one? Who knows? But Southwest had some fun about it, and I'm going to put the link in the description below. Please join me in welcoming Mor to the show. Mor, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me, John.
It sounds like you enjoyed my good news and my useless news.
Hey, pool noodles is what we need for the season.
I thought it was pretty cool. I enjoyed, I did watch this short video of it, and Southwest had so much fun on it. But I think I would have had a lot of fun. I might have to try that out. I know it was I think a $20 bet or something that you went to it.
Well, I'll definitely check it out.
So Mor, you know what? Let's give everybody a little bit of backstory. I keep saying that I recently left AWS, but it's been about 6-7 weeks. And, you know, Turbo was one of my awesome partners for almost 2 years that I've had a chance to work on a number of events with, including yourself. So I really appreciate you joining me for this show.
Thank you for having me.
Now, I have to also congratulate you on the latest IBM acquisition, and it looks like great things for you and the Turbonomic team.
Yeah, it's been very exciting. I really am looking forward to seeing what this would bring to us and to our customers.
I think I'm looking forward to great things. I'm always following on LinkedIn and the news to see what's next. Everybody, I have so many people that I'm connected from Turbonomic that share out some awesome things. One of the guys that we'll have to put in the description always puts on some funny LinkedIn videos on his roof in his pool.
Yep, that's our Owen.
Yeah. So Owen, I wasn't going to call out your name, but since Mor did, I like your videos. I am following them. I think they're just funny. I want to know where you're sitting next when you talk about it. And I just think it's going to be a surprise. So, Mor, why are we here today? Today, we're talking about this so-called digital transformation. Let me read you the textbook thing, and then let's really hear from a CTO on what it means. Digital transformation is the integration of digital technology into all areas of the business, fundamentally changing how you operate, deliver value to customers. It's also a culture change that requires organizations to continually challenge the status quo and experimenting. Mor, can you really help us understand what digital transformation means?
Yes, so let me take that back. There are aspects of this definition that resonate very well, but I think it's missing the key thing. Digital transformation is about figuring out how to use and leverage technology to improve your business. That's it at the bottom line. And for different businesses, it would mean different things. But at the core is how can we innovate faster? How can we change how our business operates? Right? And there are multiple facets to it. There's the internal operation, and then there's the value that we give to customers. And it's all around digital transformation. But it's also about, leveraging new communication platforms like Slack or Teams internally. That's a part of digital transformation because it's how people in the organization communicate. All of that is a key part. I'm sorry for some of the noises.
That's all right.
My fan decided to kick in here and force quit some applications. Again, digital transformation. We're filled with applications. We're filled with things on our computers. But it's key to how organizations operate today. So to me, digital transformation is not a luxury. It's not an option. For organizations today, it's live or die. Because if you don't find ways to innovate faster for your customers, someone else will. And part of the challenge with the latest generation is that they're less patient. And as we roll out changes to the industry, there's less brand loyalty and more, this is what I need and I'll get it where I get it. And that same experimentation that your official definition talked about is also what users are doing. They're using multiple products and multiple solutions, but they have their default one. If I want to order lunch, I have the default app that I go to. Only if I can't find what I need there will I go to my second choice. I have the first place where I will go to order a taxi. If I need one, I have my app and I'll go that one first because in the past, it has provided what I needed at the level of quality that I wanted it. But if it doesn't, I have my fallback and the fallback above that. And if I do that fallback too many times, I'll change my default. And that's what happens in our industry. And that's the importance of digital transformation. But you have to figure out what you need to change in how your organization operates and which technology would solve that problem in the best way. And that's the challenge.
All right, so Mor, you have given me so much to actually touch on. I don't know where to start. Well, you said this day and age, kids are less patient, people are less patient. Being a father of three, I completely understand where you're coming from with that. The other thing is you notice that you have your standard app that you kind of order a taxi from, right? And if that app doesn't work, you notice that you have multiple apps that you can order a taxi from that you probably have on your phone, that if your first one doesn't work, you're going to your second one. If your first one doesn't work the second time, that second one's probably becoming your default and it's becoming the next one. And you said you don't have, I guess, dedicated to the brand. And that's pretty much it, where you will get it wherever the convenience is. I find myself doing that as well. The last thing I noticed in your whole entire conversation, digital transformation did not mean specifically towards public cloud. You just said enhance digital technology, how you're integrating it into the business. I find that very interesting because everywhere I look, digitally transformed to public cloud and AWS, and here's your document, digital transformation. I think a lot of people have a little bit of misconception that they're saying digitally transform means I got to go to the cloud. No matter what, that's how I'm digitally transforming.
Yeah, and that goes to my last comment, which is choosing the right technology for your business. For some organizations, for them to digitally transform, public cloud is probably the best way because it helps increase agility. It helps developers get access to what they need within a click of a button and be able to provide value to the end customer, right? So, and it on top of that, I mean, that's the first step. But if you actually take advantage of a lot of the managed services, then as a developer, do I really want to invest my time in building a scalable database infrastructure to back the application that I'm working on? Maybe, if that's the most critical thing for my application to be unique, and that's the one place where I should invest my best engineering resources, maybe. But for most products out there, that is not a differentiating capability. Instead of, I don't want to say wasting, right? But instead of using the builder's time on building that, why don't you leverage a best-in-class solution that's already out there like RDS and build on top of that? And now you get to focus on your differentiating capabilities. For some organization, that may be the case. And that's the best way to digitally transform and focus what is becoming the biggest bottleneck of resources, developers and engineers, right? So let them focus, let builders build, like AWS likes to say. And for some organizations, that's the easiest way to digitally transform. But for others, not necessarily. For others, they've built wide IT infrastructures and they have best-in-class operations there and super scalable infrastructures to run on. And maybe the biggest focus for them is something else. It depends on your business. But at the end of the day, every business, or almost any business, can be great at a few things. The first step, in my opinion, to digital transformation is figure out what you want to be best at, and then figure out how to leverage best-in-class technologies to do the rest. Whether it's public cloud, whether it's infrastructure as code, whether it's rolling out through CI/CD pipelines, whatever it is for your business, that's what you need to figure out first.
Now, you mentioned figure out what you want to be best at. I think that goes in every aspect of life, throughout your career, throughout your entrepreneurship, throughout where you want to be. Figure out where you want to be best at and strive towards it. And that kind of translates to your digital transformation. What I find interesting is in an article I read this week about digital transformation, it's getting comfortable with failure. What does that mean to you?
To me, that is the core of iteration and agility. Because if you're not comfortable with failure, you will never try different things, right? And the only way that you find the diamond in the rough is if you try and look in multiple places, right? It goes all the way back to the gold rush. If you waited to know at 100% certainty where you would find that gold, you would probably never get to that level of certainty, right? So you have to get comfortable with failure to find that gold eventually. And the same goes to technology. You have to try new things. I can't predict what customers would fall in love with, but I can try new things and measure them. But a key thing to being comfortable with failure has to come together with an understanding of what I'm trying to achieve and a clear way to measure it. Business KPIs that I want to improve. How do I know I failed or succeeded? If I'm going to be comfortable with trying new things, I need to have an easy way and a fast way to understand, hey, this is going the direction I want or not.
I like that. That's a good information. I got to share something with you. You were talking about failure and being comfortable with it. And something I haven't admitted, I want to say I failed at AWS. Everybody knows that I was there. I didn't fail as in it's the last stop. I failed because of kind of going towards I'm a huge person who likes to promote and evangelize. And that was my passion. But what came out of that was I was comfortable with failing and promoting and doing everything else. And now I am succeeding doing all this stuff. And for my current company, Spot by NetApp, and I got to share it out there, throw a little plug in for them for that, because they embraced me and what I am doing. And it's like a personal digital transformation I got to share. But I absolutely love that analogy there on how you're using the failure and being comfortable with it with the gold rush. By the time you waited to get that 100%, somebody already took all that gold and you're already left with pennies.
Exactly. And I think it's important to do it in our personal lives too. If you would have told me 15 years ago that this is where I would be, 15 years, probably 20 or 25 years ago, you told me this is where I would be, I would have told you you're crazy, right? Because to me, computers were one thing. They were what my brother used to play, right? And it was the thing I needed to use to write my homework.
Yep.
At the later stages of my education. And it wasn't anything else. And I was against it. To me, it was like, why do I need this huge box in my room? Like, I have better things to do with the space. But that experimentation is what got me to understand what technology is and get excited about it. And you never know. You have to try.
I have to tell you, I know we're getting a little off topic. A little bit over a year ago, my kids, huge YouTube fans. I said, no, I'm not doing any YouTube videos. I'm not making any content. I can't do that. Look where I am at today. I absolutely love and enjoy it. I accidentally found a passion throughout all of this. So it was something that you tried something different and you tried something new, and I could have failed. I could have fallen flat. In fact, I didn't reach 100 subscribers for months on end because I was doing it. So I was prepared to fail, but I'm still doing it and having fun. And that's a personal digital transformation.
Yeah, look, finding your passion is like finding the two things that you want your business to be great at.
Yep.
It's important in your personal journey as well as your professional one.
All right. So my next question back on the topic, how much of digital transformation is a cultural shift and what does that mean?
I think that 100% of digital transformation is a culture shift, and I'll explain why. At the end of the day, if you don't change how you think and the culture of the business to try new things, it's that, again, being comfortable with failure, right? If you don't change the culture of the organization to accept failure and to even celebrate it, then no one's going to try it. If every time someone takes a chance and fails, you're going to fire him or, publicly talk about that failure or, overemphasize the negative aspects of it, then no one's going to try. And you're not going to be successful. Even if you claim that you have 100% digital transformation because you took 70% of your applications and put them in the cloud. That's not digital transformation. The cloud is not digital transformation. It's a place.
Wait, you mean moving my stuff to the cloud doesn't make me a digital company right away? Like I transformed it, I can go to, sorry, I didn't mean to jump in there, but that was a good point.
No, without that culture shift, without that mental acceptance, it does not change, right? If you don't increase your agility, if you don't embrace elasticity, if you don't empower people to try and do and fail and change and celebrate the wins from that and celebrate the step backs too and say, hey, you know what? We learned from this. This is what we've learned. Celebrate that. That's a good thing. Learning is, look, people in this country pay a lot of money to go to college and learn things, right? Learning is important and valuable. In many ways, more than that, finding that little golden nugget because it takes you 17 steps closer. So it is 100% a culture shift, and it needs to happen across the entire organization, all the way from the top to the bottom. Because if there's any breakage in that linkage, then you're going to fail.
Before I ask you a question ahead, because you mentioned something, I want to stay on the culture shift. And the reason that this question comes up is, what about investing in your employees for this culture shift? Because now here's how I think about it. And I want you to kind of correct me if I'm wrong or jump in here, is that when a company comes in and either existing, and usually it's a well-established company and they have to do a digital transformation, and they come in there and then employees are like, hey, listen, we're going to start doing X, Y, Z. We're moving to the cloud. Well, I don't have the training. I don't have the knowledge. Oh, wait, you're getting rid of my job to the cloud. There's a little bit of that, negativity against the digital transformation and the culture shift. What about investing in your employees? And what about those employees are always worried about their job? Because I want to say they don't get rid of jobs because you go to the cloud.
No, they do not, but they do transform and change. And, I hear a lot of my customers saying that skill gap is one of their biggest challenges, that it's really hard to find people with the right skill sets. Well, guess what? You can invest in your current people. Yep. I was not born knowing cloud, that was not a God-given gift. It is something that I worked hard for, and I learned and educated, and I encourage people to educate themselves because I think it's valuable. But stop complaining about skills gap and the fact that you can't hire people. Invest in the people that you already have that understand your business, that understand the challenges, that understand the technology, that understand your customers, and help them understand a new technology, because likely their entire career was learning new technologies, and they can do that if you just believe in them.
Now, before I ask you the next question, I got to throw a plug in here for everything. Everybody stay tuned. You got to see Mor and I play the T-Rex game at the end of this. It's going to be a little humor. I sent her a link right before we started, so she didn't have any pre-gaming practice ahead of time. I did hear it in the background before I pressed record, so she's trying to one-up me. I know it. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and some comments if you want to see more of this. I think in the future when I do these games, I got some ideas around it, but I wanted some browser-based. All right, so Mor, back on it. You talked about provisioning and the right steps. How much does continuous integration and delivery play a part in the digital transformation process, traditionally known as CI/CD, and with Spot, CO, cost optimization? I love throwing some plugins, but go ahead.
No, that's okay. I do believe in making cost optimization and actually optimization in general for everything, a part of the application lifecycle. So totally for that. But to me, it's the last mile, if you will, right? Because what a CI/CD pipeline helps you do is make these constant changes, these experiments, much easier to handle and interact with, right? It makes constant changes, continuous delivery, right, of new capabilities.
Try explaining continuous delivery without the constant changes and using that definition.
Yes, but really that's what it is. But until an organization is ready to continuously deliver capabilities, then it sort of is, if you use CI/CD pipelines to deploy something every quarter, then, you're not going to really see a lot of value from that. That's not experimentation. That's not learning, right? So to me, it's sort of that last mile, maybe last, few miles, right? But you first have to have that culture of change and implementation. And then the CI/CD pipeline just helps bring it to a wider scale and reduce the manual effort associated with constantly delivering, right?
Interesting. All right. So a couple more questions, and then we got to play our game because it's going to be fun, and I'm looking forward to that. Mor, real quick, digital transformation, is it only for enterprises not born in the cloud? I mean, assuming a company is born in the cloud, do they really have room for this improvement?
First of all, the cloud is 15 years old or so, I've been told by someone recently. So
I'm not sure who.
So, some of even the born in the cloud companies, technology changed in the past 15 years, in the past 5 years, in the past 10 years. There are always more that we can do. For, maybe 10 years ago, you build a monolithic application, or you even built it directly into the cloud, but you used auto-scaling group mostly. And there are newer, better ways to architect applications now and deliver functionality and digitally transform, take advantage of some of the frameworks and managed services. We always have place to digitally transform, right? There's a startup that I'm working with now. They're relatively new, about 2 years old. Their entire product is built on Kubernetes, delivered in a cloud fashion. It's cloud native and scalable and SaaS-y, but there are a lot of other things that they, for example, could really mature their CI/CD pipeline. The way that they're using YAML is fairly immature. They're not taking advantage of some of the core services that the cloud can help them do. And some of their best developers are bogged down with delivery challenges and with, even figuring out where issues are, right? So there's always things that we could do. Some of these born in the cloud companies are immature in their processes, right? They're immature in other ways that they can innovate their business, because again, that's not what you want your developers to be doing. So everyone can digitally transform because our industry is just innovating so quickly that there are always things to look out for. But again, I encourage everyone to think about, what do you want your business to be great at? What are these 2 to 3 things? And anything that doesn't fall in that bucket that you find yourself doing, say, how can I leverage technology to do this better? That's it.
Well, Mor, that ending that you just provided there was probably a good part to kind of end this and almost get ready for our game. I want to let everybody know AWS does have a bunch of tools and documents for digital transformation checklists They have the Cloud Adoption Framework, CAAF, and they have the AWS Cloud Readiness tool that you can take a look at. Also, feel free to reach out to Mor for more information. Sorry, that was a more pun, not intentional. By the way, it happens. All right. So, Mor, I think it's time for us to play our game. What I'm going to do is bring it up on my screen, share it. Everybody's going to see my score, and then we're going to switch to your screen, and let's see who beats who for bragging rights. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, I'm going to get this screen a little large for everybody, and let's share this out. As always, let's play the bingo card. Can everybody see my screen?
I can see your screen.
All right, you ready? I'm going to press this space bar. 3, 2, 1. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't click the little sound sharing button, but it sounds like, I don't know, like Tetris here. Oh, Mor, I'm on a roll here.
Oh, you are. You are definitely going to beat me.
All right, here we go, here we go, here we go.
You know what? I found that I am great at a few things, but video games are not necessarily one of them. But I'm going to accept failure. I'm going to embrace failure.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? I think the highest I got before was like 75. I don't know what it is right now, but this is... Oh. Wow, I didn't think I was going to make that one. I don't know, Mor.
That one was close.
Oh, yeah. 651. Let me stop sharing my screen, Mor. Now it's your turn to share it. And let's see this. Okay, real quick. Hold on a second. Yeah, that's actually perfect. You can zoom in a little bit. Command plus, whatever, that should do it.
But you have to click on the screen first.
Yeah, yeah, and then hit your space bar and let's go.
Okay.
Ready? We're off. 650. Oh, sorry, Mor. Oh.
As I said, I'm good at a few things, John.
All right, so I get bragging rights there. What did you have? 41? I had 600. 47. Sorry, I didn't mean to shortchange you. 651 to 47. I think I'm going to take home the coveted cup today for bragging rights.
Bragging rights.
Yeah, just a little bit for bragging rights. All right, so Mor, I got to thank you for joining me for this show and sharing everybody your thoughts on digital transformation and for playing the game. We're going to have to do this again, which will give you a chance to redeem yourself.
Thank you, John.
All right. Thank you, Mor. Have a good day.
Bye.